Hello Tenno, welcome to another video. Today we are talking about the Prisma Obex incarnon. Now there's regular Obex, like I know that you can put the incarnon on regular Obex as well, which can lead up to some funny interactions with, if you have a ribbon for it, it's probably gonna have higher disposition, unless Prisma Obex also has one. I never got a ribbon for Prisma Obex, so I have no clue if the ribbon dispo is also high on it, but I digress. So today we're talking about the Obex incarnon. This incarnon is probably the second most I got excited about an incarnon because it is pretty cool actually. It does some unique gimmicks. It opens up a finisher playstyle, and in my opinion, it enhances the fun of the finisher focused warframes such as Ash, Banshee, Inaros, and other warframes that opens like enemies to finishers. I kinda don't remember which one were those, but you get the idea. So, basically, what it does when you reach the Incarnon. Oh, by the way, you get the adapter from Duviri, like as all of them. You get the adapter from Duviri. You have to get materials from Duviri to be able to put it inside the weapon, and then to put it inside the weapon, you have to go to Zerman, you have to go to Caballero, and once you finally put the adapter in, you then have to do missions for the evolutions. And there's like 1, 2, 3, there's like 3 missions, basically 3 evolutions. And then there you go, your Incarnon is fully ready to go. Pretty cool, right? So what does the Obex Incarnon do? The main thing. When you perform when you do finisher attacks, like when you do like mercy kills to Eximus units, when you do any finisher attacks by just using Ash's third ability, or in ours is 1. By the way, higher damage finishers I'm more preferred because like the radial attack gonna deal more damage. Basically, whenever you do a finisher kill, you will do a radial attack, basically like a sound wave. I guess a sound wave is the best way to like basically an explosion happens around you that deals damage to the enemies. And it says like for each finisher strike. I don't understand that because like when I do a finisher, it's just like just this giant explosion happens around me that kills everything. So I don't know like how does it exactly work, but basically when you do finishers or mercy kills, everything around you will blow up. The range is not that high, but it's at least like 10 or 20 meters. So it's still a good amount. Like if you're surrounded, everything around you is basically going to die. For the first evolution, I went with Balance Stagger. It increases your base damage by plus 10. It's not that much. But the second text is the important thing. 20% chance to stun enemies hit by a neutral combo, opening them to finishers. What that means is basically when you punch people, it will have a 20% chance to stun them. Since it's a sparring weapon, you will have a bunch of punches. So eventually one of them gonna stun the enemies. This is basically for if you're playing Warframes that don't have open finisher things like Ash, Inaros, Banshee. Like if you're playing any other Warframe, this basically gives you a chance to do finishers. So, in my opinion, that's pretty cool. It's a quality of life. The second evolution is simple. I just went for range. Like you can do the combo time pauses thing, or the other one by like parkour velocity. But I went with range. Range is always good. And for the final, I picked the increased base critical chance and status chance. There's also like increased base critical damage, but like critical chance is better. Increased base status chance is also a choice. You can maybe go better influence builds with it. So I went with influence on this. I'm going to talk about the build like later on when I go to the simulacrum. Alright, so this is the build. I went for an influence build. Now you can try maybe afflictions. You can try melee crescendo because like this is a weapon that's focuses on finisher attacks. And what the crescendo does is you get combo counter based on every finisher kill you get. However, crescendo loses its meaning after you reach that 12 times combo. And since this weapon already has a good status chance, I thought maybe I should go like Melee influence. Melee influence does really well for this because if you can't do the finisher things, your influence and the base damage are gonna kill the enemies anyways. So that that's the build for me. Just simple stuff. I go sacrificial steel. You can go galvanized steel if you want to, if you want as well. I just like sacrificial steel's overall critical chance stat. Like it's all up to you. Rest is just classic stuff. I go Dreamers of Wrath Tenno because, like I said, melee crescendo just lets you reach the combo times 12, and then you do like there's no other more you can get out of it. So instead, just use a Tenno spam heavy attacks, and you will have 12 times combo way faster, and you will always keep it unless you mess it up. But since it's a melee weapon, like the more people you like, people if you're playing solo, you will never lose your 12 times combo. If you're playing the pub lobby, you will always have a high combo counter. All right, now how does it work? By the way, I like I said, I don't know if I wanna suggest like using Inaros for this because Inaros does have finishers, but the higher the finisher damage, better the radial attacks. So Ash is probably the one of the best characters you can play for this. Other than weapons based, like okay, so I'm hitting enemies. I'm trying to show the stun first before I mention Ash. Because like it's like it is 20% chance, but it still can be really hard to get that yeah, right there. I did mercy kill there, and yes. Like that wasn't exactly a stun, that was more of a mercy kill, but yeah, basically that happens. You will shoot out a radial attack that kills everyone. I'm pretty sure it scales off of the either the finisher damage itself or your melee weapon damage. I don't know. By the way, these are heavy gunners. When you use this weapon against regular enemies, they will shred to pieces anyways. So with so with Inar like let me try with Inaris as one. Yeah, see what I mean? Like when it's regular finishers like this, like it does damage, it does the radial damage. But when it's like a mercy kill or like a finisher that deals a lot of damage, such as Ash's turret ability, it just goes nuclear like this. So I don't know if like Inaros or Banshees to play because like when you use let me just swap to Ash to see what I mean. Okay, I use an Ash with Wrathful Advance. I'm gonna get the Incarnon. Okay, I got the Incarnon. I'm gonna do Wrathful Advance. I have red crits. I do the third ability, do a finisher. Yep, just 700 and almost 740,000 damage. Oh, that's crazy. Like this weapon with Ash is insane. Like you just do Wrathful Advance, third ability, and then you do this. It still does the thing like where it might not deal enough damage, but like again, these are heavy gunners. They have damage reduction. So of course it kind of look it can look a little bit janky, but in a real setting, these things will go nuclear. Speaking of that, let's go to a live gameplay. All right, the mission has started. Let's get with our combos to 6 times. I accidentally heavy attacked. I'm so good at this game. We need to find some enemies. There we go. Also, I would suggest like with all these incarnon weapons, you should always use like a Cordon and Nautilus. Nautilus is probably the best helper for any Warframe content most of the time. But you know, your hounds and dogs and covettes are also helpful. I'm just saying for grouping capabilities, Nautilus is awesome. And yeah, you just saw it. I teleported to someone, did my turret ability, boom, everyone dies. It's just so fun to me, like what you can do with this. Like I like that, like even though the damage can differentiate between which Warframe you use, I like the fact that it intensifies on like you know the word. It basically pushes people to do different playstyles, and that being finisher kills. You can now have an excuse to use Inaros or Banshee with silence finishers, because Banshee also has an augment which lets her have even more finisher damage, which means you can also do funny stuff with her and Obex incarnon. You can, or like I said, try it with Ash. I just like how even if you don't use this Warframe, it still has the stun thing. So I like how it enhances the finisher focused warframes, and if you're not using a finisher focused warframe, it still gives you the opportunities to go nuclear on the enemies. That's why for the melee weapons, I think Compared to the Destraza incarnon, I find Obex incarnon a bit more fun, since it's also like has that rewarding playstyle of, oh, if you do finishes, you would just nuke 20 to 30 meters of area around you. It's just real nice. I unfortunately couldn't showcase the damage against Acolyte because Acolyte died to the regular melee instead of the radial damage, but I can probably tell it will just nuke them out of existence too. So that's all I will be saying about the Obex Incarnon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, put your thoughts in the comments, which Incarnon is your favorite, share with your friends, share with everyone, and I see you tenno in the next video. Goodbye.